It does just feel like they're kind of just floating in space. Oh, I just see what I did there. Anyway, Harry, Hugo, it's over to you.
That is a bit of a yikes, Harry, in between maps for Space Soldiers. Just hope it's more of a warm-up and they can find their groove here, but it is certainly not looking positive in what could be their last map of this season. OpTic trying and ready to 2-0 Space Soldiers and send them back out of this league, at least for another season. Pistol round on the T side for OpTic, and they got utility over on MSL. He sat outside of B. That seems to be the late game plan for OpTic. We've seen them run this pistol before against North, actually. A couple of players outside A early just to hold for aggression, see if these CTs want to push up into the confines of the A site. Util already rotating round as well, so it seems like OpTic will be going for an A play after all, and Space Soldiers now stacked up on the B bomb site. The solo man up on A. This could come back to haunt them, but they've got plenty of time to rotate, and you know, OpTic are only just getting up the connector now.
Yeah, the question could become is how quickly do they act on the back of getting so much control over here towards A. As you highlighted, 4 players down on B. And for Space Soldiers, at some point soon, it's likely we maybe see some aggression come out, or perhaps, yeah, there's the flash down to short. So they get the info that no one's here outside of B. And now we see these rotations coming through, but you're relying a lot on Yam, buying some time here for the rest of the Space Soldiers to get in. But oh no, they've all but been torn apart. This B stack does come back to haunt them indeed. It's only Paz remaining. And it's a team ace from OpTic, everyone pulling their weight, all the kills coming through.
Yeah, that's not how you want to start things if you are ex-Space Soldiers, especially considering the fact that, you know, you don't really have any room to fall back on. You don't have the buffer of another map or another series. This is the last one. They fell to North. They fell to Mal Sports. And OpTic looking to repeat. Zeus on Emor. Flat pistols for everyone else, and OpTic with a lot of rifles here, or only 2 rifles actually, 3 SMGs. Fast mid-play for 5 members of this CT side, and the nades coming a bit too preemptively. The CTs wait for it, and then they go for the push. Nico, he is lucky to be alive, and I'll be surprised if he gets away. That's a Zeus kill, woohoo! Knife is out as well for Emor, but a bit optimistic to get more than one. Yam's there with a trade, but still a done deal. This is still a round for OpTic.
Yeah, best case here for Yam is that he's maybe able to deal with Nico, who is nearby. He's going to hear these footsteps, though. 4 HP, going to stick around, and is still able to find Yam regardless. You know, 1 kill with the MAC-10 wouldn't have made all too much difference to Yam. He can get the AWP anyway. The $600 wouldn't have been enough to have gotten armor behind it, so it would have just gotten him a few extra pieces of utility. Would he have liked it? I mean, this first fight for the Turkish squad really isn't too much to write home about. Very, very limited indeed. A singular smoke, a singular flash is all they've got to work with.
Yeah, prioritizing the Orgs may come back to bite them here when it comes down to the util. Not that that would make a huge amount of difference. I mean, even the M4 players are lacking. And we're 15, 20 seconds in, and they've got a smoke and a flashbang. Yam, however, relieving some of the pressure, takes down Nico on long. That will start things off. The issue is, it might keep him here in OpTic. They're nowhere near the A site. They've got 4 players down on B for now, setting up utility. Space Soldiers with only 2 men committed within the bomb site. The rest are double up on A and 1 man in heaven as well. Engine can still certainly have an impact from this position, but if they smoke it off, this could be a very difficult round to hold.
Emor, fully blind off the angle, and Refresh able to get him despite being blind himself. These rotations have come in. Paz slowly but surely on the wrap around. Refresh going to get dropped by Engine as he tries to flush out the lone man inside of the bomb site. 3 on 3, by no means impossible, and Paz able to catch Snappy on his rotation. This leaves MSL to try and clutch a 1v2 required, but this man's been a bit of a clutch minister. For OpTic, surely not again. Engine with just 6 points of health left in the 1v1, and MSL, they asked a lot of him, and he answers the call time and time again. OpTic 3-0 up, and they're now standing down the barrel of a very good T side already, because you imagine they can find a 4th round here.
MSL even ran over the AWP as well, didn't even pick it up, definitely saw it. So Yeah, even up against Space Soldiers, not opting to run the T-side open overpass. It's a very inquisitive thing, and I would be somewhat convinced that he was going to pull it up into this half, considering them being the favourites by a large margin. Maybe not wanting to battle Cadian. But to be fair, Yam has been holding his own, as we've been saying throughout these last couple of days, Harry. He's been having, a few moments individually where he's showing us what he's made of, but in the grand scheme of things, this entire team is struggling against the likes of OpTic and etc. The rest. More armor and pistols here for the CTs as well. OpTic just crawling up towards long. Yam's going to get flashed off this one. He will choose to duck dive and weave his way back into the A site.
It's a slow, methodical round here from OpTic. They don't want to let these pistols get away with more than they should. So they're not keen on just playing into them. Instead, taking their time, slowly but surely clearing out the toilets. They will find Paz momentarily. And on the back of finding that one man, this A-side play now looks to come in. Config has to check the close angle, and he will. So no love for Yam there. Still more players hidden in these smokes. So a pinata of ex-Space Soldiers on the other side. The issue is just getting well, the pinata treatment there, just beating the hell out of them. So yeah, Engine and Emor left standing.
It's like a money pinata, because you get dollars when you kill them. You don't get candy.
I mean, dollars are just candy waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point, but candy isn't dollars waiting to happen.
Well, you could sell sweets. But yeah, I would definitely rather have money and then buy them as the option.
That's easier. You read about that man that traded up from like a paperclip to a house. The house was pretty bad, but I mean, he traded up from a paperclip to a house. That's what you could do with the sweets.
Yeah, but I always question the legitimacy of those stories,
no, I don't
right?
believe either.
Right, guys, I'm trying to do something really funny though. So if you give me the
house,
this car, this paperclip, and then, well, anyway, here's the push out through mid. Ex-Space Soldiers would love it if they could trade a couple of paperclips in for a bit more cash here over on the CT side. But they still have a pretty decent buy, all things considered. Yeah, I'm going to start to regress over towards the long portion of the map. Doesn't have anyone in toilet, so he's got to be a bit mindful of the possibility that OpTic do try and serpentine their way out through the toilet portion. Flashed off the angle initially, going to try and go back to it, and now looking to go blow for blow with Config. The issue is, Config being so far from that angle, he's going to spot Yam before Yam sees him. And OpTic have been doing a good job of just taking it nice and slow initially, really working these toilets, taking control of mid, taking control of connector, and with this portion of the map, you leave the avenue open to rotate into that B bomb site if you so desire. Flash there. Paz tries to peek on the back of it, but does get silenced. So man advantage taken for OpTic once again.
Yeah, and Space Soldiers just don't look confident to ever try and get aggressive anywhere on the CT side. They've not taken B short once, and OpTic are just going to be able to double back. They never even had a look in B short. They're just going to run into the site. And Calyx was the only man here because of the early A pick. Rotated players off. What a shot from Refresh. And yeah, I don't know. It just seems like ex-Space Soldiers not looking confident on this map at all. It's not good signs early on. Yam's tried to take initial fights, but been forced back by Config. And the only reaction we see there from Space Soldiers after the first pick comes through is they rotate heavily towards the A site and they lose B short, or they lose B completely, and then OpTic just double down through the connector. That's the thing about Overpass. You can just swap between those two bomb sites so quickly that as CTs, if you give up too much map control, you're just allowing OpTic to bounce between the two, depending on where their picks come through.
Yeah, and so often the way that you see teams play, I mean any CT side almost, right, is if you're going to give somewhere up else on the, if you're going to give something up elsewhere on the map, you have to push and prod in other portions, right? You have to make up for the fact that you've given some control the way of the Ts. And that's not really what we've seen from ex-Space Soldiers, right? Even if you think back to that pistol round, they had the 4-man stack down on B. only one man up in A. And it wasn't until, you know, after a good, you know, I'm going to say minute before they finally flashed short and cleared it with one player. And obviously by that point in time, the A bomb site was overran and those rotations came in a little late. So I think, you know, from Space Soldiers now, I'd love to see a bit more of a proactive approach to taking this map control, trying to get a bit more information to play off the back of, so you're not always just blind, having to play these super reactive rounds. And so this time around, we do see that. We see the challenge down through short early from Yam. The boosting connector as well clears this avenue of the map. And so now, if you're Space Soldiers, you've got a pretty good idea as to where OpTic can be on the map. The issue is these two players in connector could very quickly get trapped in this portion of the map. And now you've only got the entirety of your forces toward this B bomb site. And that's meant that Emo has to rotate back up towards A. So yeah, they're getting picked apart once again.
Oh, refreshes through the wall bang onto Calyx here, the one from back barrels that lands on B short. Calyx was holding the connector exit to cover the AWP's back, and he spammed the wall. So OpTic communicated that and got the wall bang off from T-Spawn. That's such an awkward way to lose down into a 4-on-2. Emo alone on the site. There's a low player. He could finish him off, but misses a shot. MSL down to just 10 as he gets the trade in the plant. Yam too far away and on an AWP, so has to give OpTic the round. This is 6-0 on the T side of map 2. That was a nice change from Space Soldiers. They had good map control. They'd taken B short like we hoped. They were in connector. They would, you know, at least had a little bit more to work with, but obviously the second they lose that connector stack, they lose A because there was no one on the site. Yam will get one on the exit, but it's OpTic 6-0.
Yeah, and you know, the problem with that for the Space Soldiers squad, right, is they essentially dedicate 5 players to clearing short and long down at B. And while that's great in terms of getting information, the second that, you know, OpTic were able to spot the 2 players down in connector and actually win those fights, there was no one left on B that could keep an eye on A, rather. So they had to pull a player off. The B bomb site gets made that much weaker as a result. And it just seems to be these kind of collapses over in the Space Soldiers camp, right? You don't have players set up to trade off of one another. That round looked promising. Obviously, it's kind of magnified by the fact that Refresh got that wall bang onto Calyx. There's not really much you can do to put a stop to that.
But by that point, OpTic were already up by the A site, so it's not like Calyx's rotation would have changed much other than potentially opening up a retake, but it was still a 2-on-3 with an AWP. Either way, very favourable for OpTic as this entire map has been so far. We've got another charge down B short. Space Soldiers taking more map control. Calyx and Emo with this one locked down. And, you know, this gives you info. This gives you the ability to free up a rotation. It allows Engine to go back towards A, knowing that, you know, you have Calyx watching the monster cross. Now, T's already could have crossed, but you've got to gamble sometimes. Yam, he's just not getting a chance to fight here. Flashed off twice and dinked down. Nico finds the kill. That's the AWP even dropped over. Refresh catches one aggressively short player. And Snappy, he'll try and come out from the door, but Calyx is more than aware of it. 3-on-3 here. Calyx might have just saved this round.
Oh, the re-flash out from long. Engine does at least deal with the solitary player down in mid. And this only leaves the long avenue for OpTic to aggress through. As a result, Engine's able to isolate these engagements, force these one-on-ones, and he's going to win each and every one of them. Masterful bit of dueling there from Engine to separate those fights. And as you pointed out, Calyx gets 2 kills in that round, his first 2 kills of the game. So hopefully we can, of the map rather, we can hope maybe a bit of a confidence boost for him, and, you know, he can look to get back into this, because he's definitely someone we're going to look to and need to step up on Space Soldiers if they want to stand a chance at taking this through to a 3rd map.
Without a doubt. Paz, he's going to be trying to bring the heat this time. Flash over from both sides. He does fully blind those Ts, but doesn't want to commit to it. Changes his mind and bails out, giving OpTic this control. It's fine. Space Soldiers can afford to do so. They'll double play the toilets instead with this AWP, and Yam almost lines him up. He gets one, but there's an instant trade from Config, killing a different player, and knows the AWP is still closer. He spams away from predicting the peak. Yam's dead, and MSL is 2. Engine's rotation, again, looking to try and keep this round alive for Space Soldiers. He's flashed on the truck, and Config's chasing him down, will not let him retreat. And so OpTic take back the advantage. A very confident round from Config so far. And the ace is still on the cards for this man as he sits on 3 within the A bomb site.
So now they know the whereabouts of one of these players. Emor making noise down on the stairs. Calyx going to start to push out from the bank, and he does snap onto Snappy. Config still here, still with 3, now the 4th of the round, and as you said, he had the chance for the ace. It's looking better than ever. Calyx, there's no time here. Even if he hops on that bomb now and no one peeks him, he's pretty much all said and done. Yeah, no kit, that's really going to be the downfall of them once again. Now, Config goes down with the bomb. It's not really the end of the world. You're sitting 7-1 up. The money is not great, but it's not really in too much of a bad spot either, especially with another partial investment looming here for the ex-Space Soldiers side.
Yeah, they can't really buy around this one, though. They shouldn't, at least, with that loss bonus being so big. So 7-1 for OpTic, and what a map they're showing us here on the T side of Overpass. Some really nice just some mid-round calls and rotations, even though ex-Space Soldiers are having players that are finding multi-kills. It's not like they're converting these rounds. And Config with a huge one in the previous as well. That's what we like to see. He's topping the charts now for OpTic. It was Nico and Snappy back in the previous, but this time there's a new man on the server, Config. Another 1-for-1, but Calyx actually doubles it, bailing towards the B site. The one rifle finding success, and OpTic are going to try and avoid that, but you can't avoid a flank. Yam takes down Nico from the back lines on long. And Snappy, he probably won't be ready for this left corner. He checks to the right instead, and Paz will find him. So this round has fallen apart for OpTic, and it wasn't even a buy from ex-Space Soldiers. They were eco.
Yeah, they just get blindsided by the sheer aggression from the ex-Space Soldiers side, especially when we haven't seen any of that thus far. So finally, Calyx will get picked up, but it's Engine here, the fail-safe on the pillar, just hiding, biding his time. Refresh is certainly not ready for that. So ex-Space Soldiers able to salvage a second, and that's where that last round there, coming down to the not 1v1 rather, but only one man surviving for OpTic, is going to come back to hurt them.
Yeah, I guess that just shows how quickly the tables can turn, Harry. You can be 7-1 up, and then boom, you lose one rifle round after a sloppy previous, and there you go, you got no money. So I don't want to paint a picture where this could get ex-Space Soldiers back into the game, because we did that last map and they just got absolutely crushed. So if they can capitalize on this, that's great, but OpTic will have a buy up in the follow-up round. We could be back to reality after that. Long play here for OpTic. Dangerous considering how many times the AWP has sat here, but the numbers game is favoring these Ts. They've already crossed past Yam. He knows one's close. Nico tries to take the duel. The flash is there, forcing him back, but the pop through the connector from Engine is well timed. The AWP somehow still here and kicking Yam. He won't expect 3, but at this point, it's a 1-on-4 for Config. Surely he can't.
No, we're going to get our answer nice and quickly. Emor peeking up from the dumpster, and he'll dumpster Config on the back of it. The AWP was just about salvaged as well toward the end of that, so it gets put back in the hands of Yam. And we saw from the ex-Space Soldiers over on their T side of Mirage, they were able to grind their way back into that game and salvage a reputable scoreline. Well, they've got a lot more time here to go about that. They're not 9-1 down anymore, as they were in the circumstances back then. Yam aggressing down through long, but this time Emor does get caught on short, and this time there's no one nearby to trade or keep things even. So OpTic will sit pretty in the 5v4 for the time being. They'll try and pressure the lone man down at Monster. Engine was here to help out, and that nade is going to dunk down Config. Issue is, Engine's getting wrapped from everywhere. The bomb still dropped all the way back towards T-spawn, and Paz is actually afforded this 1v1. Had he won that, there's a chance for him, but obviously he doesn't, and that will be OpTic at 8th round to their name. Yeah, the bomb, I mean, it being in T-spawn, if anything, that favors OpTic, because if Paz wins that duel, they just rotate it to the A site, and by the time he's realized it's too late, only one player committed to that actual B site for the T side there, and another round for OpTic keeps them in the lead by a good margin. As said, we were just waiting for the rifles before reality strikes in, and Config, who's just been having a great game, storms up short, is used to find the entry by OpTic, and when you have someone having just a strong performance like this, you can just send them in first and
and hope they win their Angels. That he truly does. Nico holding the long play, and he may be rewarded. Yam's getting curious, and you know what they say, that killed. Ooh. He gets away with it, though. Fair enough. Nico actually shooting into the corner of the metal there. Bullets absorbed, and Yam dodges. Again, falling back towards, somewhat closer towards the A site. He's still stuck on long as OpTic set their eyes on A as well. 3 CTs here. First time we've actually had a stack up from X-Space Soldiers on this side of the map. Will it work out? Both have been spotted. Snappy knows there's a boost, and he's taken down the top part. They've got to have info on this final guy on the A site, and they'll flash him through and take him down. OpTic are just all on the same page right now. They're looking so in sync. And a 9th round, it will present itself as that bomb gets planted once again.
Now, if Calix and Emo are able to hold on to these 2 weapons, which they should be good to do, right? No one's really hunting. They can salvage a pretty decent buy, all things considered, in this coming round. You're still going to have that max loss bonus banked on up if you are the X-Space Soldiers side.
Terrorists win.
So Calix and Emo can drop rifles over. But that man on your screen there, Config, you know, we keep saying that we wanted to see a bit more from him. Well, he's certainly showing up today on Overpass. A map that historically he's always been pretty damn keen on. This is where he broke that kill record as well in their matchup versus Renegades. He's looking to do the dirty to another Aussie man this time around. 9-3 is the score right now. And will just be what looks like the fast B play from OpTic. All 5 players. And that smoke falling early, that's already enough to deter them.
Yeah, that could have got dangerous, Harry. Especially when you finally get a good rifle round. It's been a while since we've had everything for Space Soldiers with the AWP included. And if you get B-rush there and you don't molly it and you lose the round and don't even get a chance to play your own game, that's unlucky. But Space Soldiers won't be at least dealt with that for now. These T's going back towards the A side of things. Yam flashed off, and it allows OpTic to actually get down the connector here, getting more info as to the positions of these CTs. And with, again, a 3-man A setup, B is looking ripe for the taking. Will OpTic commit to it? It does seem to be the case. It was their initial plan, as you said, setting up for this 5-man B rush. So they'll want to end it there as well. Re-smoke on long. Another 15 seconds added to the clock, but OpTic wait for no one.
Yeah, they might want to wish they had. Calix and Emo make very quick work of those 2 players that try and push through this smoke. And what 2 men to find? Refresh and Config, 1 by 1. The Danes hit the ground. This leaves just Snappy and MSL 2v5. So X-Space Soldiers looking like they might answer back with a nice, quick, clean round here. They hear Emo on this wrap.
Oh. See ya.
I mean, even though they've dealt with him, there's no time. The bomb's dropped over towards A, and that will be X-Space Soldiers in with round number 4.
Yeah, and a clean one as well. 4 players kept alive is going to make all the difference when it comes to getting reset and, of course, keeping a bit of money to play with for these last couple of rounds of the half. 9-6 still on the cards here, Harry. You know, not a great half, but they could salvage that from what was a 7-1. Nothing to turn your nose up at. OpTic, no AWP once again, still keeping up that consistent here. And considering Yam is one of the 2 players that's actually having a great game for Space Soldiers, I'm surprised MSL's not even trying to battle him. Yam, you know, again, continually playing this long A position. It's not like OpTic haven't been aware of that. They've flashed him off numerous times. And I imagine MSL could win that fight if set up correctly by his team. But still looking to run these 5 rifles. And again, up through long, no fear. Yam over in the toilets this time. Double setup with Paz. If they sneak, they can get right past them. The issue is you usually flash someone into toilets in this position. And so that's going to make some sound cues to ex-Space Soldiers, and they've heard this. They know full well that MSL is up close on the site. They've got to turn around and deal with both sides as they get split. Snappy drops one. Paz, he needs a massive round, but he's being flanked, and Snappy doubles down. This is another clean round for OpTic so far. A bomb plant coming through, and ex-Space Soldiers trying to save the day.
Ooh, and they just might have. Engine and Calyx doing a decent job, but Snappy in with his third just beheads Calyx on his peak from the dumpsters. Bomb still dropped in the middle of the site though, and ex-Space Soldiers just sat on it. The smoke gonna fall for the stairs peak. Oh, no one there, but they spot the player on the truck. That's Engine just doting with the idea of taking the peak, and now on the back of this contact, Demore tries to peek with him. But Refresh posted up to counteract it. OpTic Gaming, they salvaged that round. A 10th recovered. Heading into the last of the half. Ex-Space Soldiers somewhat having to scrape the bottom of the barrel here. Calyx even donning that AWP over Yam, who's only on the scout.
Gotta take the hit sometimes, Harry. I mean, you know, if anyone tuned in prior to this game, they saw that the cameras and the mics are on Space Soldiers, and there was not a single word being said between maps. They were just sitting there silently, clicking their keyboards. So, yeah, internal problems, or not problems, but maybe motivation not on an all-time high with this game. Losing early battles towards A as well. Man advantage taken for OpTic nice and early on. This AWP dropped from Calyx, and Engine will follow. Yam only with the scout, and Emo's the solo B defense here. He does get one, bailing back out and grabbing the AWP, giving himself an opportunity to take another fight elsewhere, but OpTic not rushing this one, not running the gun. Sit back and wait for ex-Space Soldiers to show their hand, because in a 3-on-2, very possible they will.
Ooh, Emo just missing the timing on that. Here's the flash raining in, so the call will come through for Yam to try and help him out on the rotation. Emo might be able to do enough all on his own though, dancing around the pillar, trying to recover a 5th round at the end of the half for the ex-Space Soldiers, just toying with Nico, having to keep him on his toes, and the timing is perfect. Emo does it all. 4 kills to cement that 5th round at the very end for the ex-Space Soldiers side. We saw a 5-10 half from them over on Mirage, and they weren't able to recover it. Now they have to try and pull this back here on the second map over on the T side, the least favored of the two. It feels like it's going to be a tricky one, but we saw a couple of players stepping up there towards the end. So do they have what it takes, or is this the end of the Space Soldiers run here at the Season 9 of ESL Pro League? Find out after the break.
Walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk on, baby.
Well, it was a very, very strong performance once again from OpTic over on their T side. Almost unearthly. But Hugo, we are not alone. There's the soldiers from space in the server as well. They managed to salvage 5 at the end of that first half. Now moving to their T side, we have to see, arguably, we would have to see the best form of space soldiers that we've seen throughout the entire event thus far, here and now, if they want to try and take this through to a third.
And I don't think we're banking on that, Harry, but let's see what they can do. You know, can't count them out at the end of the day. They do have some stars on this team, but right now OpTic are definitely, you know, the more proven roster. And I think OpTic have impressed all of us here. You know, we've only had 4 teams in this group, but, you know, OpTic have managed to put up good fights against everyone, beating North, close game versus Mouse Sports, and now looking to defeat X-Space Soldiers. It's a fast B play from the T's to try and finish this one off. And Paz has opened up. Calyx side by side as well. 3 CTs left up, but Config, he's hidden in this smoke.
Yeah, now they should realize, right, if smoke falls directly on the Molotov, the odds are there's a man in it, but they don't seem all too aware.
The thing is, once you get stuck in that rut and you shoot like 2 bullets and you miss, that, you know,
they
you're at the
all
point,
miss.
No, you're at the point where you need to stop shooting for a second, because otherwise the inaccuracy of that pistol is going to go wild, and that's exactly what Config just found out. Issue is, when you're behind someone, you don't want to stop shooting for a second. So, bit of a double-edged sword there. 6-10, Space Soldiers back in this game with that pistol round, Harry. Anything is to play for as OpTic sit with just flat pistols, looking for the 3rd round by fast a long play from all of these CTs. They're going to be met with a couple of Ts on the other side with these MAC-10s and 1 AK from Paz. I love this setup. I've not seen this before in this round, but I like it. The issue is, you know, you're going to get a lot of jiggle peeks around this corner, or flashbangs, which can basically render this entire setup useless. Yeah,
this is the old, you know, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah,
because they're all on the rock.
Nice, that's a good one.
Yeah, dude. Well, I don't come up with many things, but when I do,
they're that.
Yeah. You know, mid control is gone. X-Space will just have this little long stack. While it looked nice, is never really gonna lead to much.
Hello.
Oh,
that's the
no.
bomb.
Oh no, it could lead to a lot. It could lead to a lot. They've dropped the bomb down in mid. How has this happened? X-Space Soldiers suddenly fighting back over 3-on-3. Now they've still got these SMGs. You can't get too excited just yet. This is definitely a round that they should still look to pick up. And as they do get closer with these SMGs, they will start to shut down players. Config caught with his knife out. He'll get finished as well. X-Space Soldiers do find the 7th in spite of things getting a little bit dicey there.
Well, the long road to recovery, Harry, has started to begin, or begun to start. But this is where OpTic want to shut it down before it can get into it. 3 orgs, 2 M4s, no AWP, but that's going to be happening in the future, I imagine. NSL does like to run it on the CT side here. We have plenty of utility for the T side to go for this B execute, and that will be the aim of the game. Fast into this bomb site, charging through short. Config's fully flashed. He goes deep in Monster, usually a risk. There's no one here on the T side of the bomb. It went across bridge. Snappy's dropped it. Config's double back with a double, and Calyx is cut off by the smoke. It's OpTic all over this bomb site. What an error from X-Space Soldiers.
They're not going to give Calyx really anything to work with. The flank maybe could let him 1 kill here if he drops MSL, but then he's still in the 1v4, and he's just not ready for it whatsoever. He's anticipated that everyone from OpTic is just grouped up and on that bomb. So straight in with the swift return are OpTic here. Still a buy on the cards for X-Space Soldiers. Now, yeah, I'm not going to be... Oh no, okay, they bought the hero AK on Yam. He had enough money to get the AWP here, you know, that's what they had a bit more in the tank for. Now obviously they didn't win the round, so he's used this to invest in the hero AK buy. Will we get to see a hero though?
No. Nico charges. I mean, they knew he was there as well. They saw him cross, so surprised he gets away with that kill. And that kills all that matters, Harry. He kills the 1 man with armor on the team. Now, guns have been taken from X-Space Soldiers, but they are very squishy. 1 bullet sends this aim flying for any of these Ts now, as aim punch is going to be the biggest factor to worry about. Long under their control, or at least so they think. OpTic do have 2 players per site.
You can see, right, they've slowed right down. They're hoping that a few more OpTic players get overzealous here, try and shut them down, and OpTic just won't budge. They've got no reason to, right? They're not feeling the heat right now. They know this is just a light investment. They've still got full utility over on the side of OpTic for the most part. So while these weapons have been juggled around on the side of X-Space Soldiers, as you highlighted, the lack of armor, the no utility apart from this one flash is going to make things very dubious at best. Oh,
Timing.
well, he doesn't go back to try and jump around anymore. MSL and Refresh shutting things down. It is just Calyx remaining, and the lack of armor really is showing there that can't sustain those gunfights. So a 12th round now for the OpTic side.
Yeah, and of course you can go over to the ESL CS Twitter to vote on the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel power plays. Right now, top is Config 4K on Mirage. I respect that. I think MSL's 1v3 is one you got to keep into account there, back on the first map. This series not devoid of highlight clips, but will X-Space Soldiers give us any here? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really yet, so you would love for them to do so. Yams are already, though, been dropped over here at long, so not the best of starts, but Engine is able to pick up Snappy there. He maybe gets a bit too big for his boots down towards short, trying to take the aggressive angle to keep an eye on this short wrap. They're not ready for Config, however, who's already taken up his fallen teammate's position and is starting to aggress. And the information he gets here is massive. He's cleared out the entire B portion of the map. Refresh starts to rotate away on the back of it. Thing is, with a minute and 5 seconds left, you do have to be careful. At least Config serves as an early warning sign. Bit of a beacon. For if X-Space Soldiers do head this way, but they won't.
Well, that pick gives a lot of room for X-Space Soldiers, but it's all down to time, Harry. This flank is really coming in at the perfect point for Config. And they are hesitant. They are taking their sweet time outside these toilets, which just gives Config more room to get closer towards this site. I think these CTs are going to be aware this is an A play after all. Jump spotting on long gives away some info. And now X-Space Soldier starting to commit. MSL, he's flashed off the angle. Smoke close, he'll play around it. He won't get a shot off. Refresh now has to duck back into the CT spawn, try and delay to allow for this flank to come in, and it will, but it's just Config now alone. Oh dear.
But that might be enough. He's been able to find both of the gunmen inside of the site, leaving Emor to have to get this bomb down. And now Config versus Emor. And Emor might just take the peek. Oh, he gets spotted though. And Config now, he's got the information. This man's deadly with a bit of info in his back pocket. Emor toying with him, wasting a lot of time here. We're into the closing segments of this bomb, and Config does have to find this player, and he will. So Defuse comes in, and a 1v3 from Config there. Enough time to even retrieve the AWP.
Yeah, and this has just been a highlight reel for Config in this map. 22 kills, currently sitting at the top of the server. He's had a great game. Snappy's had quite a few influential rounds on these T sides as well, pulling things back when needed. Emor not looking too happy, and I do not blame him. Space Soldiers only a few rounds away from being eliminated from this group, and their run in Season 9 of ESL Pro League is over if that is the case. Pistols and a solo Mac-10. This is looking like a B-rush if I've ever seen one, but lots of deagles, so they can spread out and look for clues. AWP finally in the hands of MSL, Harry. We've been waiting for it, and we have been graced with this big green gun.
Yeah, if you're X-Space Soldiers here, right, you want to use this round to try and set yourself up in the future. You want to try and not only do damage, but you want to bait out a lot of the utility here. You know that you've got these last few rounds down to the wire, so you've not really let OpTic build up these big bank accounts that we've been so used to seeing. And that's why we see them focusing their early attention over here towards mid. You can also try and get a feel for how OpTic have been approaching this CT side. The only issue is right now, these two players down at B in the form of Refresh and Snappy. You can see numbers 8 and 0 on the old mini-map there. They've cornered this portion of the map off, and as a result, OpTic have a very clear picture as to where exposed soldiers lie right now. Now this rotation looking to come through down towards B, but this looks like it could just be a fake. Only 2 players here. The bomb still on the back of Calyx.
And now we get to see this double setup brought into play from OpTic, because they are going to get dealt with a bit of a B push here. This off angle, good, but they're going to check it. Oh, it doesn't matter. Line up for Snappy. Armorless players like lambs to the slaughter, Harry. And Snappy is not done just yet. There's another bomb dropped as well. Needs to be picked back up, but he's got a teammate on the site to deny the plant, and 20 seconds for them to try and do so. Paz coming through the connector. His teammate does drop that orb down in the tunnel, and he has armor to play with as well, but there's too many players on this site, Harry, and there's not enough time, and that is not a good situation to be in. Config mowing them down with the org. 14 rounds to 7. OpTic are not letting off their gas.
No, they are really just going for the throat here of a team as well that really are looking very demoralized, right? Whenever the camera cuts to them, you can see those rather glum looks on their faces, and you imagine that's because the grim reality somewhat setting in here that this could be the end of their run at the Pro League. And, you know, at which point to say that you weren't even able to win a map is never a fun situation to be in. Warp out for Yam once again, and this is the last-ditch bite for Space Soldiers. They don't have anything left in the tank, so this is it. Do or die now for the Turkish squad.
Nico narrowly avoids his death there. You could have thought, oh, surely that's okay for him. If Yam peeks, he wins that fight. Even so, there was Emo coming out through the connector to get the trade, so that was a good setup for Space Soldiers to try and find the pick, but Nico avoids it. Timing is in his favor. Engine, not the same story. He gets out B and only damage to Config. Now they're going to be aware. Issue is 3 players committed towards this B site, and oh dear, that flash could be fantastic, Nico. They're fully fine, and he just knocks him down. 3 kills with the org. Bomb dropped and everything coming up OpTic. There's nothing to stop them here. Nico, he's even trying to fight Emo on the bomb site as well. That molly not going to stop him as he runs right through it as it blooms. And bomb being retrieved at least gives Space Soldiers some skin in the game, but right now, 3 on 2. And OpTic having rotated double up on this A site and even having B short under control, this is not going to be an easy round.
Flash goes over. That's the one bit of the utility they did have to try and allow Emo to find the entry, and he will drop Config on the back of it. 2v2 by no means impossible here for Space Soldier, but it's Snappy on the wrap round now who could look to seal this round. Refresh is going to get pressured. They try and deal with the man in bank. 20 seconds. Engine really does have to deal with him, and no, Refresh running away. Such a mind game. It's all down to the time now. And Engine having to get this bomb down. He's pressured. He hears the rotation up from the stairs, and he's been wallbang low, but now down to the 1v1. And it's such a back and forth round. Engine, he gets them both. 2 kills from him, 3 for Emor, and together they keep the dream alive for the Turkish squad. 8 rounds to their name now, denying map and series point in the way of OpTic as they win, what was it, 2v4?
Yeah, what a round from them. I mean, Emor, he just suddenly looked like he'd you know, gained a whole new level of confidence. Just runs into the bomb site, flashing by his teammate, 2 entries.
I don't know if it's new confidence or if it is just the knowledge, like, okay, guys.
Who cares?
Yeah,
nothing to lose.
Yeah, there's really nothing to lose here, right? Either the big plays work or they don't, you know, at this point in time. So
gotta try it.
But that's where it feels like this Space Soldiers squad can be the most deadly, right?
Yep.
When they do just kind of let themselves off the leash, as it were.
Well, let's see if OpTic can tame the beast. 14-8. Scout on Yam as well. No AWP. MSL's got his towards the B toilet, or the A toilets rather, but that's a quick kill from Calyx. Luckily traded, keeping it in the 4-on-4. He's got to care about long, because that's where the bomb suddenly sits for these Ts. With only 2 men in this position, it's not like Space Soldiers want to commit to this push. They've still got players working the exteriors of B, trying to find picks on aggressive OpTic players. Considering how much OpTic have been taking this B short control, that does make sense. Engine trying to get up there as well. Mollied off and has to bail. That smoke will at least keep players on B for the time being, but Paz has crept through one of his own. Snappy winning a duel on that lower site, but look at this position from Paz. They have no idea. He can only find one. MSL still here on the truck, and this bomb is all that stands between Space Soldiers and potentially winning this round. MSL's trying to lock it down and drop it in the site. The climb up from Yam. MSL aware of the possibility. Yam can't quite find the angle unless he strafes to the left. He sees the shoulder and gets the tag. His teammate coming up from short finishes off with the utility, and Snappy bails him out. Into the site he goes in a 1-on-2 for Yam with a scout. Low HP on Snappy, does manage to finish off the first kill, and now he's even got the AWP, but no time to rotate towards B, I don't think.
No, yeah.
It's going to be close.
No. I think it's... No, yeah, he gets it.
Yeah.
Seconds to spare. Yam knows his timings. He's got the number game down, running shoes on. And now the clutch 1v1 versus Config. He knows where he is. He gets the information, tries to take that initial fight, and catches him jumping down from the heavens. Yam playing with our hearts and our minds, but he gets the 9th round for Space Soldiers. It's down to the wire.
I mean, that's exactly what we talk about, Harry, when we say, you know, nothing to lose, right? Nothing to lose. It's 14, whatever. It's looking done. And Yam, with 10 seconds left, drops towards B, gets a plant with half a second left, and wins the 1v1 against Config, who's the top performer in the server right now. I mean, what a round for Yam. So 9-14, slowly but surely, Harry, they're getting back into the game. This should be their double digits. OpTic Gaming, no money here.
Well, they brought out the old Dwayne once again. Sat over here on the rock, all 4 players. Paz finally going to actually uncover the terrible truth that lies in wait over at long. It might not be a terrible truth, might be more of a sweet treat for Paz, as it's just a bit of a shooting gallery. There we go. 4 kills from him.
Yeah, slightly less effective than last time, but at least we know how that one goes down, I guess. Won't see too much of that, I imagine. 14-10, there's the double digits taken, but now OpTic have the money in their hands, Harry. No AWP. Actually, no utility either. This buy is pretty trash as all things go. Don't really even blame OpTic for going for it, but if they lose it, things could get very dicey, Harry. This game is starting to get closer than we imagined. Double long setup again over on A. We've got Paz and Yam on the other side with their own AWP to fight. They will just be holding back for the time being, while the rest of the team works this lower bomb site. Flash over long, but close position. Do remember, MSL catches Yam off guard. He's not expecting such a close rock spot, and MSL doubles it. There's even an AWP there if he wants to take that away, as now Space Soldiers desperately claw their way into B.
And this is it, the last-ditch push. They've grinded hard to get 10 rounds back into this, and now their hopes and dreams lie in this B-bomb site. Config is here to try and send them packing. He will manage to. It's Calix thrust into the clutch. A 1v3 required. Bomb on his back, and this wrap from MSL could seal his fate. Sticks the bomb plant, so he at least has that to fall back on. Does anticipate the wrap round, but MSL with the AWP just gonna land that shot. Totally fair, totally reasonable. 15th round for OpTic, map and series point. And for these guys now, I mean, it's all about trying to solidify that second place, right? Yeah. Guarantee your ability to come back and keep competing for your slot in the finals.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
Space Soldiers, they need 5 rounds in a row if they want to claw this one through to overtime.
And OpTic getting it done with no utility as well. I mean, just the aggression on the CT side. We've seen it down on B. We now see it up on A. Chasing up on long was MSL with 2 kills on the AUG, and even closing out the final 1v3 on the B site. So 15-10, Harry. And here we have it. What could be the last buy for Space Soldiers. They do have that AWP in the connector, but double setup from OpTic. First time we've seen this as well. What a round to pull it out as well. First round, Space Soldiers have really put so much stake in gaining this position for themselves. Yam going to creep his way up, but he just misses the timing. Nico might miss his own timing. Good off angle. They won't expect this, and they will line up. He gets a 1-for-1. That's good. But for who, the question asked, as MSL shuts him down from above. He finds a double as well, and now we know who it's good for, Harry. OpTic. 4 on 2. Make that 3 as Engine gets a pick to B, but this bomb is still so far away.
Still, Engine's got their attention. Certainly has the attention of MSL over towards Connector, who's trying to flush this man out. Now misses that shot. Flash through and tags up Engine. You need to look to Paz to try and bail his teammate out of this situation right now. He's slowly but surely creeping into Connector. And MSL's time on this earth is looking limited, but Paz going to miss the shot. And what a blunder. MSL given some time to fall back. He can drop the Molotov. And he's just wasting so much time on the clock for X-Space Soldiers. They're trying desperately to find the one man they know they can.
And they've got to go this way to get the bomb. That's the issue. They cut off everywhere else on the map. That's the only position they could have gone back to get the bomb in. And so, you know, him not being aware of that, but just being there was such a nuisance to Space Soldiers, and they lose another player just trying to grab it.
Paz does deal with MSL, a 1v2, 19 points of health. That's all he's got left in the tank. Refresh over in top mid, Snappy inside of B, 9 seconds on the clock, and at this point he's got to stick the bomb plant and they know it. The second he tries to tap this in, Snappy peeks up and he solidifies this game. 60-10 is the scoreline, and that will be OpTic taking this series in a 2-0 fashion, solidifying that second place. They throw any possibility of those draws into the win, so we don't need to break them down. Instead, we have a nice stacked leaderboard for you. But that will be the end of the Space Soldiers' run here, right? It's all said and done.